Hi everyone, welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Kraus. I'd be really bad at knowing where to go from here.
It's just like a weird pause at the end and I'm like, wait, should I speak?
I'm like, okay, we're gonna get right into it, but I also like hate saying that.
I know.
Like,
and
obviously we're getting into it. That's why we hit record. Anyway.
We have no banter either, so.
No banter. It's Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday and we're being so skinny.
It's my last enjoyable coffee for 40 days.
I commented that back to someone because she was like, I'm giving up maple syrup too in my coffee. And I said, yeah, I'm basically just giving up coffee though.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. I'm probably giving up espresso because, like, yuck.
Ew.
You know what's crazy? I'm just to preface, it's about to be Lent and we're giving up maple syrup in our coffee for Lent. We post about it on social media, so that's what we're talking about right now. I just want to point out when I first started drinking coffee, like religiously in college, I drank straight up black cold brew from Starbucks.
And I did too. You got me on that wave.
Like nothing in it. Loved it. And then I would get like a splash of almond milk when I thought like almond milk was, good for you. When I tell you a splash, that thing didn't even go to light brown. That thing went to just like a lighter version of dark brown.
Yeah.
Craziness. Now I couldn't even imagine sipping that. I would never purely sip it out of enjoyment.
I think the shift really happened when I studied abroad in Italy and you guys came and got cappuccinos and then I wanted a cappuccino or an espresso machine when I got home.
When we first started making cappuccinos, it was never sweetened. We never sweetened it. We switched to maple syrup because we were trying to get off of that creamer that we would make in our iced coffees. Remember?
The Q2 super creamer.
Yeah, that we would really only have when we made iced coffee. And then I don't know how we got onto maple syrup, but boy, oh boy, did we cling to that mother. And like so much to the point where our brother last night said, maybe I'll give up maple syrup in my coffee. Like, and mom is pissed because our mom just started liking coffee and she really only likes it because it kind of tastes like ice cream every morning. I'm like, Mom, you are new to this. You haven't been drinking coffee like this for over a year. Like we have like probably 2 years. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Every single day.
And like, I'm mad when we don't have maple syrup in the morning. Like, when we're out of it, I'm like, I can't make my coffee.
I save a lot of money on maple syrup. Like, it's a lot of us making maple coffees. Anyway, we're not talking about Lent. We're not talking about this. We're just letting you know if next episode we seem miserable, you know why.
You know why, but it's for the Lord.
Kidding, it's for the Lord. We're going to be better for it. Anyway, as we always do, as we always kind of say, coming on to each episode, we like to really come from a place where we feel like we are in our life. Sometimes when we sit down, we're like, what are we going to talk about today? What should we talk about this week on the podcast? And we try and force something. It just doesn't feel good. I don't know. We're like, I don't know what I would say on that. I don't want to like give advice on something I'm not feeling right now. And then when we come of like, what are we, like literally Israel was like, what are we feeling right now? What have we been talking about with each other? What have we been posting about on social media? That's when the best topics come and when we can really speak from the heart. So that's kind of what we want to do today because recently I've been finding myself not dreading what I'm doing. So obviously I'm a full-time fitness instructor, as many of you know, also a full-time content creator. When it comes to being a fitness instructor, I feel like I have been, again, dreading is a really harsh word, but I have been having that like, oh, I got to go teach again. Oh, here we go. Another 45-minute class, hour class. I can do this, kind of just like pushing through just to get through the day because obviously I have to show up and be there. And that's a really crappy feeling when I got into this industry because I loved it so much, because I love teaching. I had such a strong passion for it. And then I realized recently that I still have that passion for it. When I'm in class, I'm not dreading it at all. I'm literally loving it. Every second of it. It honestly flies by. Every time I teach a class, I cannot believe how fast an hour goes, truthfully. And I'm like, what is it that's making me have this feeling going into it? Why do I feel so mentally exhausted around this? And a lot of it comes down to me and what I'm doing in the hours outside of that, where I'm not taking care of myself, where I'm not pouring into myself. I pour so much into other people because that's my job. When you're teaching classes, I'm showing up 110% in the room because I know that people signed up to be there for me to give 110%. Even when I feel like I got 5% in the tank, I'm going to give 110. So when you're constantly doing that and you're pouring into other people and taking care of other people, you can apply this to any job that you do. If you're not pouring back into yourself outside of that, that's when I feel like you get caught. And when I say you, I mean me specifically, in this lack of passion and love for what you're doing. And I feel like that's kind of where I am right now. And that's why I've been really trying to prioritize, okay, what are little things that I can do every day that are going to give back to myself almost? If that, I don't know if all that makes sense. This is obviously a very giant ramble, so I apologize.
No,
but
that was a great introduction.
just because I feel like also as a fitness instructor, I don't feel like people talk about this a lot either, of like the exhaustion that you feel. Like it is physically taxing on the body. So of course there's a level of tiredness that comes with it naturally because your body is tired. But when you're mentally exhausted too, it literally feels like at the end of the day, a truck hit you and you don't know how you're going to do it the next day. And then you have to. So you have to show up for the people. So I just feel like I'm not perfect in it. I'm trying to find that balance, but I'm also learning these things as I'm saying this out loud and addressing it. I'm like, okay, there's changes that we can make, and this can be applied to not just my job as a fitness instructor, but of like so many more relationships in my life, people, just things I do as a content creator, working with Isabel. Like there's so many areas that I feel like I'm quote unquote dreading and not showing up fully in because I'm not doing it for myself.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love that you said like you were talking to the audience, because this is so applicable to everyone else, because it doesn't just need to be fitness. It can be whatever you find yourself pouring a lot of time into, if you're not spending that time on you as well, or pouring into genuinely what you want. Like pouring into your work is also pouring into you, but maybe not in the way that you want to. And when you're not pouring into yourself the way that you want to, you're just not going to show up in those other areas of your life as good, no matter what it is. Like I even think of content creation. There was a time when I loved it because it was so fun and new to me, but I think of where I am now in the journey and it's like, I hate posting now. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I feel like
you're giving to the followers, to the new people. It just, when you're constantly feel like something is taken from you, you need to counteract that in some way.
Well, I think that's kind of the feeling that it creates when you don't pour back into yourself. It creates this negative connotation to what you are giving, because you kind of blame the thing that you're giving to, that it's taking away the time that you need for yourself. It's creating this like lack mindset of like, that's the reason that I can't take care of myself.
Exactly. Putting blame on something else that is in your control.
Yeah. And I think that's why self-love is so important in general, because that's basically what we're talking about. Like, right, self-care, but self-care is loving yourself enough to take care of yourself, I think, in both of our opinions. And when you do take care of yourself, when you do show up and pour into you and show yourself that love, you will show up in other areas of your life in the best way. Like I think of you even saying that about, okay, that may be your fitness classes, but I do feel like it's affecting in how you show up in your relationships and your mindset throughout the day and your other work that you do enjoy doing and want to try doing, but you're just so burnt out and so consumed by so much else. Like I know that's, maybe I'm like speaking for you,
no, but it's so true.
But I know
well,
it's
we
like,
tend to feel the same
yeah.
thing, so.
We have like literally telepathy. I'm like, I see it going on in her mind. So anyway, that's just why I think that self-love is so important, because sometimes I think people think self-love is selfish. Like, oh, I shouldn't be spending all this time on me. But I actually think it's one of the most selfless things you can do, because you're spending the time on you to be better for other people. Like if you don't, like we said, give that time to yourself, you're just going to be a bear with other people. I know on days where I don't do what I want to do, I tend to yell more at you, yell more at mom, because I'm so flustered by my day. And
it all comes from a place of almost insecurity about yourself and what you didn't do for yourself. And that's, I mean, we say this so many times, whether it's on Instagram or this podcast, of showing up for yourself consistently every day in little ways or big ways is literally the way to build confidence, to like get better. You're not going to grow and get better if you don't show up for yourself. When you don't show up for yourself, you're just basically telling yourself like, I don't respect you enough to do this. Like you don't deserve to wake up and do this workout. I don't respect you enough to do it. Like imagine talking to yourself like that, or someone saying to you, I don't respect you, so I'm not going to do that. It would be, you would never speak to that person again. And it's like, I feel like when we take that approach with ourselves, or we are like, oh, I just like don't have time to, you know, go on my rosary walk today, or just go on a walk by myself, listen to this podcast episode. When you say like, I don't have time for that, you're saying I don't have time for what is going to fill up my own cup.
Yeah.
And it might seem selfish to certain people, but those people are the ones that probably need that the most as well. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Like you probably don't want to be in their shoes anyway.
I actually love how you just brought up confidence, because I feel like self-love and confidence are very much connected. People may not realize that, but confidence isn't really something that you're just born with. I feel like it's really something that you earn and almost prove to yourself and build within yourself through the daily actions that you take, not just by disciplining yourself, but by doing what makes you feel good, by doing what you said you were going to do, you know? So if you said, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and take those 15 minutes for me to journal in the morning before the rest of my day, before I dedicate the rest of my hours to everyone else, and then you go do that thing, like you just showed yourself how much you love yourself. And that then makes you feel valuable. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel valued to yourself.
Exactly.
Like,
you don't need the outside validation to feel valuable. You
exactly.
give it to yourself.
Like you gave yourself it. And then that just naturally builds confidence. So I find myself like, there's some moments where I literally feel insecurity just creeping into my life in so many different areas. And when I really dig deep, and I'm like, why am I being so insecure in everything right now? It's because I haven't been keeping the word to myself. I haven't been taking care of myself or doing what I say I'm going to do. And when I stay in that cycle, like I just notice it takes such a toll on my confidence. And it's almost like a lack of self-love is creating this insecurity that creates a lack of confidence. So,
which is a very common roller coaster as well. Like as we always say, it's never, oh, I feel confident, so like I'm confident for the rest of my life, right? I have this confidence. No, there's moments, again, where I fall back. Like right now, if I'm not taking care of myself and I'm falling back and I feel those insecurities creep in, it's not going to be perfect. Doesn't mean I lost all my confidence, but it just means it's a little weak right now. And I need to build that back up instead of looking towards outside validation like social media or the people around you to like compliment you and lift you up. What can you give yourself in those moments? And I feel like a lot of times people think confidence just comes from appearance, and that's not how I view confidence at all.
No.
Like when I think about confidence, I think about the energy that you exude when you walk into a room, when you just exist. Like what type of energy are you giving off? Maybe you have to fake it a little bit until you actually feel fully confident, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's these compounding routines and consistencies that you show up every day. But it's more so just how you hold yourself. Like how are you round shouldered when you walk in a room, or do you hold your head up high, right?
Yeah.
Like do you really walk in a room feeling like, I don't care who I talk to in here, who sees me, I see myself right now.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And I feel like it obviously depends on situations, but I just feel like when you tap into that too, being like, it doesn't matter what I look like appearance wise. Like I might not have the prettiest eyes or, you know, the best makeup. Like is when I always say, like, we're not very good at makeup. We're not good at hair. So when we go to events, we're not the best at it, whatever. But I'm like, if I am confident in myself, I don't care what I look like on the outside.
I think what I'm realizing is the common theme throughout everything we're really saying is that it always starts within. Like confidence is not, like what you just said, it's not external. It starts within. It starts how you feel about yourself, how you treat yourself, how much you respect yourself. Like everything comes from the person that you're building on the inside, the headspace that you're building, the daily work and daily habits that you're doing that affect like your external life, if that makes sense. But I kind of want to get into what self-love looks like, because I think a lot of times people hear self-love and they think of treating themselves, of going out for a little shopping spree, maybe buying their favorite product from Sephora, buying a new workout set, or calling out Kateri right
You
here.
just looked at me and said that.
But I feel like self-love to us is less about treating ourselves and more about caring for ourselves. And that's going to look different for anyone. I want to make that very clear. I feel like there's a lot of pressure that self-love needs to be wearing a face mask at the end of the night.
Yeah, like
and
taking a bath and doing all of this like
Yeah.
massive routine, and it can look like that.
yeah.
But you don't always have the time for that. And
Yeah,
that's
and,
okay.
and that may not be the way that you like to fill up your cup. So then you're going to spend time doing things that other people told you was self-love. And guess what? You're not going to really feel like you poured into yourself. Like I feel like the best self-love is looking at your life and thinking like, what do I wish I had more time for? What have I been craving in my life that I haven't been dedicating time to? Like,
I like that point of like asking yourself, what are you craving more of right now? Or what do you wish you had more time for? If someone asks you, you have the rest of the day off, you have zero responsibilities, no one is trying to contact you, no one needs you, you don't have an email to answer, nothing. What would you do with that time? What would you do with the first hour of that time? And then that can kind of clue you into the type of things that will make you feel good. Maybe you literally have 30 minutes in the morning for yourself, and that's it, because then the day gets started. What would you do if you just had 30 minutes every single morning? What would be something that you choose? You didn't have any other responsibilities but to do one thing for yourself. What would that look like for you? And maybe that's testing out things. Maybe every day it changes a little bit. Maybe every single day it stays the same because you know you like routine, you like consistency, and you just want to stick with one thing. I think that's great too. I feel like, back to the point I was making in the very beginning of this episode, I was pouring so much into other people, right? Which I enjoy doing. That's one of my love languages too, is being like taking care of people and leading people. Like I really, really enjoy doing that. That is something, that's why I got into this industry, because I found so much love for it. But I wasn't doing the same for myself. And I found, okay, I started to ask myself, where in my week do I have these small pockets of time that I can give back to myself? Because I'm saying I have no time. But when I break down my week, do I really have no time at all for myself? Like, that's a little dramatic. Come on now, Kateri. So I took a step back and was like, okay, for example, my Tuesday mornings are my morning for me. Before I go and teach, I don't teach until 9:30. So I have a window in the morning. Yes, I still have to get up early. If I don't get up, I won't have time for me. And trust me, last week I didn't get up and I didn't have time for myself, and that stunk. I literally was very mad at myself for doing it. So this week, when I set my alarm on Monday night, I just reminded myself so many times before going to bed. It literally, I sounded a little crazy, but I was like, remind yourself of how badly you want to take care of yourself. When your alarm goes off in the morning, you need to remind yourself of how you feel in this moment. Because it's easy to like set the alarm at night being like, I can't wait to get up and like do that workout, do this thing. And then the alarm goes off and you're like, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
I just want to sleep. And that was almost me this morning. I woke up 10 minutes later than I actually wanted to, but I was like, this is your chance. You either get out of bed now or you're missing your window. And it was all just about, it doesn't necessarily have to be a workout, but for me, I'm always leading workouts. I want to do my own workout and just shut my mouth and have someone else tell me what to do, or just like do the moves without speaking them out loud or whatever it is. So for me, my Tuesday mornings have been that small pocket where I'm like, I can work on building back strength because I'm working on my ACL strength. I can work on my cardiovascular health. Maybe I just want to do a walk and pray the rosary and do the vibration plate and not be rushing to the next thing, because I feel like some of that dread that I was talking about in the beginning of this episode comes from feeling like I'm just go, 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 and I'm not slow down. So some mornings I know I just want to slow down. So some Tuesdays have looked like that for me as well. And I just think to someone else that might look like a normal morning or might not seem that big of a deal because I am a fitness instructor. It's like, okay, so you work out, that's how you get back to yourself, like doing what you do with other people. But it's just, I know that's what I'm craving. And when I haven't done that, like last week I didn't do it. I only gave myself like 15 minutes. So I squeezed in some Bible reading, which was still great, but it didn't give me the full, I was still rushing to get it done because I knew I had to leave soon for class.
Yeah.
So I just feel like you have to be able to ask yourself and look inward of like, what is it that is going to make you feel good?
Yeah.
And in the morning, no one needs me. Like that Tuesday morning, I don't have to be anywhere until 9:30. I can use that time. It is worth it to get up early, because then once I'm up, I don't even realize what time it is. Like I really don't pay attention. Once I'm brushing my teeth, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. It's just getting up and out of bed and also reminding yourself in that moment, could make or break my day. Do I want to have a bad day because I didn't show up for myself? No. And now I can go with the rest of my week being like, you kept that promise to yourself on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning's quite literally the only morning I have to do that. So it kind of fuels me for the week in that time frame, at least.
Yeah. I actually like what you're talking about a lot, because I think that's a huge part of self-love or self-care in general, is that it does require some sacrifice. It does require some discipline. Like self-love isn't just going to like, oh, I want to start loving myself more, and then it's just going to like roll onto your plate. It's going to take work of you trying to figure out where in your day that you can squeeze it in. What can you give up in your day for you to be able to make this time? Like for you wanted to sleep in, but if sleeping in would not give you the time. So you sacrificed having like a sleep in morning and said, I'm going to have an earlier morning just like the rest of my week, but in order to pour into myself. And I think a lot of people don't think that self-love requires discipline, but it's almost like you need to get over that hump of discipline to show yourself the love.
So true.
Like that is part of the self-love, is keeping that promise to yourself, is forcing yourself to get up in the morning so that you have time for it.
Honestly, such an amazing point, because we're talking about like, where in your life, where do you have these pockets of time that you can add in something for yourself? But you probably have to take something away. If you're like I said, if you don't feel like you have any time to do anything, that means you're filling all your time with something. Something needs to go at some point of the day, of the week, that's going to make room for this. And it should be important for you to make room for it. Like you should want to make room for it. So like you said, for me, setting my alarm, yeah, it stunk getting up, but I was like, I should care enough about myself and have enough respect for myself right now to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. either. Like it's not anything crazy, but it was earlier than I wanted to. And I was just like, it is what it is. Like if I loved myself enough, I would do this. And that's what gets me out of bed. Like I have to have those mental gymnastics with myself in the morning. I do go through that. I'm literally sometimes so much so that I hit snooze, and the whole snooze, I'm freaking awake battling whether I want to get up or not.
I feel like that's a good kind of, what's the word here? I don't know what the word is, but like gives you a good idea of what you actually do care about and what you actually do want to do. Like we talked about, like actually looking for it. But if you keep finding yourself putting off time or not wanting to even make time or not even wanting to have that discipline, then maybe you don't really want to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the why behind what you're choosing to do to pour into yourself needs to be really strong. It needs to be like, no, I want to do this because I'm actually craving it, because that's what's going to get you out of the bed in the morning. Like that is what got you out of the bed this morning.
Like if it were something lenient or just like you said, something I didn't actually want to do, I wouldn't have gotten out of bed, because I've been like, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, like there's been times where I literally told Kateri, I feel like I should have like a whole night skincare routine. I told her, I'm like, I'm going to go up earlier. I'm going to do my skincare routine. I said that on Monday. I probably went through the whole week. I didn't do it once because I just told Kateri, like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, like it's literally not what I care about doing at all. If I cared about doing it, I would have made time for it. I would have forced myself to do it and felt good about doing it.
Or I would have even done it no matter what the time was.
Yeah, like I just feel like it just showed me, okay, maybe that's not really how I want to show myself love. Like for me, my walks give me intense clarity. Like I know that is how I want to pour into myself, because no matter what happens, Kateri knows, no matter what time it is, I get on my damn walk every single day. And it takes discipline, because there's a lot of nights where I'm like, man, I do not want to walk right now.
It'll be
it's like
torrential downpour, pitch black, snowing, doesn't matter. As well as there.
But like that's how I know, like that's how I want to pour into myself, because when I end that walk, I never feel bad. I always feel so much lighter, so much better, so much more at peace. And that's how I know it's something that truly fills up my cup versus doing all these. Like I even set 2026 goals this year. I'm like not keeping up with half of them. And I'm like, yeah, I realized I don't want any of these in my life.
And like, some of them you write down, like we talked about, but you don't know until you start doing the things too. Sometimes it takes trial and error, and that's with everything that you start or stop in your life. Sometimes you just have to see and figure it out, and then you realize, okay, that's actually not for me. That's not what I wanted to do. And I think that's the beautiful part about life too. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be. You can really take this approach however you want. If you're in a position where maybe you heard what I was saying in the beginning and you're like, yeah, that's me, of like, what are you dreading? What are you lacking? What do you feel like, oh, my relationships aren't great right now, or whatever? It's like, where are you not pouring into yourself so you're not showing up for other people? And I feel like it takes looking inward to get some of those answers. And it might not be answered overnight, but little things over time do build up. And like Isabel even kind of like brought up about me and how she's perceived it, which is like so spot on. I know for myself when I'm feeling that dread of like going to work, doing this, because I'm not doing something for myself, I take it out on the people in my life. Like I do take it out on Isabel. I do take it out on Tyler. I feel it. And I'm like, it's not anything you're doing. It's literally coming from a place of my own insecurity, my own anger of like just not showing up for myself, not doing something for myself. And I just think that's really, really important. So obviously why we're talking about it today, it's taking a moment for yourself, taking time throughout the week. And it's not perfect. I'm even like, okay, I have my Tuesday mornings and the rest of my week is like really sporadic. It doesn't mean not showing up and working hard and like keeping your job and doing that. It doesn't mean I'm not going to show up and I want to pull back. I'm at a time in my life where I'm like, get to work, do it now, because there's going to come a time when you're more busy and you can't teach as much or whatever it is, or you move out of this area and you can't teach at all these places. Take advantage of it now. But I think, like, I'll bring up something. Someone reached out to me asking for one-on-one training on Tuesday mornings. And if she had asked me a couple months ago, probably would have said yes, because I didn't use my Tuesday mornings for anything. Now I'm like, that's quite literally my only Tuesday morning. And my first instinct was, shit, I have to say yes. Because I need the money, or I want the money. I was like, that's nice. It'll be great money, one-on-one training. But I'm sacrificing a lot of my time and what I know to be a lot of my energy. And I know that is going to deplete me so much more than I think it will. And I really I prayed on it. I said, God, I need you to help me make this decision, because part of me is like, Tyr, you have to do this. If you don't, you are being lazy. And part of me is like, listen to what you know you need for yourself. And I was like, I just need you to help guide me. And that night, I just had this like random clarity. And I remembered my 2026 goals for myself. And one of them was saying no to more things that take away from me, that are going to deplete me. And not that person did anything wrong by asking me, but I wouldn't have been able to show up the best I could for her either. Like, I don't want to go into our training sessions dreading that. She doesn't deserve that energy. That's
and you
awful.
would have been Monday night being like, I do not feel like waking up tomorrow and doing this.
And that is not her fault for me saying yes. Like, she didn't have a gun in my head being like, you need to train me. She was reaching out as a innocent person being like, hey, I would love to work with you. Putting myself first in that situation has already given back to me. And it was hard to make that decision. I'm not good at making decisions. I'm not good at saying no to opportunity when I technically have time for it. That's just how I am. I'm not going to lie. So I was honestly very proud of myself in that moment. And I was like, God, I know you helped me get to that. I know for some reason, because like I genuinely haven't even thought about that when I thought about my New Year's resolutions and goals of doing that with myself. And then that popped in my mind. I was like, wait a second, this would be going against what I told myself literally a month ago that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So let's try and show up here and see what other ways. Maybe you can work with her in other ways. Maybe you can figure it out. And we are. It's a beautiful kumbaya together now.
No,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So
and you're going to show up better for her. You're going to show up for the other people in your life and your week, because when you love yourself, you also love others the best that you can.
I also think that comes from, exactly. It comes from like setting boundaries too. Not that everyone is trying to cross boundaries, but if you don't set things, like I even made it known to her, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to show up 100% for you, and you deserve 100% from the person you're paying to be there for you. And
but she appreciated that.
She respected and appreciated that more than I could even imagine. She was like, I'm so happy that you just said that and were that honest with me. Like, thank you for not just saying yes, taking my money and almost like BSing your way through this, because it matters. If someone is giving you that much money, time, dedication to you, like they deserve that back. And I think when you set those boundaries in your life, or if you have the right people in your life that you can say that to, when it comes to, again, if you have to sacrifice some time or an activity with other people to pour into yourself, the right people will understand that. They'll get when you say like, I just need this for myself right now. I can't give to you because I have to give to myself. The right people will understand that and know, oh, you're not being selfish. You're actually being really freaking awesome by doing it.
One last thing I want to say is I'm just using my friend's story kind of as a, like, just more input for this episode, because I think a lot of people have, like, Terry and I have a little bit of a different schedule. Obviously, a fitness instructor is not the same work schedule as you guys. Me working from home, doing content as my full-time job is not the same work. We have the flexibility to pour into ourselves in the middle of the day if we want to use your Tuesday morning. A lot of people may work a job where you get in at 9 and you leave at 5, and then you come home, you have to make dinner, you have to do your workout and all of that. And my friend was kind of in that same cycle. And I just remember, like, one thing that she really did was, because you're obviously going to dread that. Your job is consistently pouring into building other people's business, not building you. And I completely get how dreadful and annoying that can be. But I do know that her relationship with her job changed when she did start pouring into herself, which is just another reason I think this is really important, because you do stop dreading those things as much when you do have the time for yourself. And one way that she really did that was just by even like getting up. I know we kind of said it, but getting up early in the morning and making time for it there. Or maybe she got home from work and instead of rushing right into dinner, she took 15 minutes to journal then. So I feel like how you use your hours outside of your job is really important. And a lot of us come home from work and just want to sit on the couch and like unwind from the day. But I think if we just really looked at those hours and were like, where can I squeeze something in here and take care of myself here, it'll make that job a lot more enjoyable. So I just wanted to say that, because I feel like we're coming from a way different work perspective, but I want you to know this is still so applicable to your everyday life.
No matter what you do.
No matter what you do for a living, I feel like it all comes down to really looking at the time that you have in your day and finding a way to make it work.
And holding yourself accountable too, like not in a bad way, but like ask yourself, am I wasting time doing something? Am I just being lazy by not getting up earlier when I know it would make me feel better? Maybe you're not a morning person, so maybe that's not the time that you want to do something. Again, that's okay, but you have to hold yourself accountable to know, am I blaming my work for having no joy in my life? Maybe that's a little dramatic, or am I not holding myself accountable? And like you said with your friend, as soon as she started like flipping even those 15 minutes for herself after work, even 15 extra minutes in the morning, her whole perception of her job changed without changing her job, without changing her day-to-day from being in the office. And I think that is, I see it when I go to Pilates at night, and the people who come right from work in their literal work outfit and get changed at the studio and I'm like, wow, you guys are amazing. I love seeing you guys come right from work. like props to you for packing your bag. And they're like, if I don't do this, I will literally be miserable. I will hate my job. And not like, they say that. And I'm like, I get it. I totally do. And they don't have to do that. If they went right home, they would miss that Pilates class.
Now I have another point to say, but you're right. I feel like a lot of us have this like misery in our life. I'm not saying like people are miserable, but we need to start pointing the fingers at ourselves a lot more than we point at other people. A lot more than we're pointing at the job that we hate, that the people that are bogging us down and constantly asking for our attention. Like we need to stop pointing the finger at other people and really point it at ourselves and think like, what can I do to make this better, instead of constantly blaming, because them doing that took away that misery around the job. And I think a lot of us just go through the motions and think that it just is miserable because I need to show up to work every single day. But like, you can do some things to change it. Now, maybe you're really busy. Maybe you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know how.
And there's not every season of your life that you're going to be perfect. Like, hence why I'm just now realizing I've been in this same fitness schedule since September. And now I'm kind of realizing coming to, because I didn't feel like I could take it on earlier. That's okay. It's also flipping that script of like, oh, I have to do this, to now I get to get home from work and make myself a healthy dinner. Maybe that's normally your routine, but maybe it's changing the conversation for yourself around it as well. You don't have to make dinner, you get to. We're so grateful that we get to do that. And I think even just that little adjustment for yourself can be super helpful. Like this morning, I get to wake up right now and work out. How beautiful is that I have this hour for myself and no one else? That's a beautiful thing, because one day I'm going to have a baby and kids waking me up well before my alarm goes off. And I'm not going to have a morning routine because I'm going to bring them to school, God willing. You know what I mean? So it's like, just enjoy what you can.
Maybe that is your self-love, is just allowing yourself to enjoy
and romanticize things.
Yeah. And like, because there's a lot of times where I get home from something and I like beat myself up for not using my time more wisely, for sitting on the couch and not doing, like Kateri knows my Saturday. I'm like, I wasted my entire Saturday, but relaxing on the couch and not doing anything was actually maybe the self-love that I needed. And when I don't allow myself to feel that, it takes away from it and makes it this like whole intense thing. But maybe that is like, maybe you get home from work and you feel so much pressure to work out and do this, and that adds more misery. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to get home from work and just relax for the rest of the night and eat your dinner and get to bed early. That's self-love too.
It's just choosing yourself over forcing yourself to do things. Or I think, we just have to choose ourselves more. We're going to keep rambling. We have to go. Obviously, we could keep talking about this for a while because it can be applied to so many different scenarios. And like we said in the beginning, it's coming from a place where we feel like not ready to talk about it. That seems like not that we weren't ready, but it's now coming to fruition in our life where we see the importance of it more and more right now, because we've been lacking this. So if you feel like you've been lacking it, like this is your sign to start prioritizing yourself. Where can you hold yourself accountable? And if you haven't thought about it, maybe this is your introduction to it. Or maybe you're just like, where else can I pour into my life right now? How can I pour into my relationships better? What can I do to kind of feed into these areas of my life that do make me feel good? And just watch how the rest of your life starts to shift a little bit, and watch how that conversation shifts in your mind. Because I also think a lot of it comes down to the way you speak about things. If I'm constantly saying I'm dreading this class tonight, I'm going to dread it. But if I'm like, I'm so grateful that I get to call that work, that leading a 45-minute Pilates class is my job, I get paid to do that. 3 years ago, I wouldn't even believe that this would be my job full time. You know what I mean? So it's like, change the narrative a little bit for yourself, change that conversation. And I know that with myself, I'm not focusing on the good. I'm focusing on the negative. When I focus on the negative, all I see is negative. When you focus on the good gets better, and you can.
That is really so true. Sorry.
No, because it is. And I feel like a lot, again, this is me holding myself accountable. A lot of it's like, is it really that bad, Kateri? You're really that exhausted? Where is the gratitude that you once had for what you're doing? Tap back into that and watch your life change. Like literally, even me saying out loud, I'm like, it really is that simple, Kateri.
Yeah.
You preach it, apply it. Like, don't just be a hypocrite. And I feel like I need to hold myself accountable in that area. Anyway, we have to wrap this up.
Yeah. Bye. Listen, I know you all know the best way to show yourself the self-love and care for yourself, but I do have a suggestion. It is to subscribe to this YouTube channel, to follow us on Instagram at Everything Kraus, at No Sugar Pod, at Sculpted with Kateri. Support our page, comment on this video, share it with a friend. Support us because we love you. Listen, we appreciate all of your support so much, but your support is what keeps us going. So please and thank you.
Yes. Anyway, we hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you next time.